The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Long before the sects divided, there was the enveloping darkness. It was in this dark humanity learned to trust the light, to run from shadows, and most importantly, to fear.
Brutality and superstition walked hand in hand in this dark time, but also hope. Hope that the heroes of this age could hold back the monsters and illuminate the path through the shadows.
The children of Cain are no different. Some run from the shadows, some turn to the light, and some become the monsters of legend passed down from one hearth to another.
Their story is one of loss, one of struggle, and one of death. For what can survive in the wake of those that cannot die?
This is what it means to be a myth made flesh. This is what it means to be a vampire in the Dark Ages.
Welcome to our Vampire Dark Ages stream. We here at McStabber Studios understand that some of the subjects that come up during this chronicle are problematic by modern standards. Our goal is to handle these kinds of situations in a manner that does not directly or indirectly glorify these kinds of actions. While we understand that we are playing in a world of monsters, that does not mean we must be the monsters ourselves. Please also be aware, none of our cast are experts in history. That means there will be some deviations between the real world timeline and the vampiric world. You can go ahead and chalk that up to the Cainite influence on the mortals around them. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy our story. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McStabber Studios' Vampire Dark Ages Glimpses of History. I am, of course, the storyteller, Shanky McStabber.
And I am Mama McStabber, and I will be playing Elena, Thorin-daughter of Clan La Sombra.
I am Zachary Naldra, he, him, and I will be playing Brother Miguel of the Gangrel.
I'm Gina Vanish, and I'm playing Peregrine Gwen McSullivan of Class S. I want to say S. My shit. Hi, good morning, and I'm playing a Doridor. Yes.
Hello, I'm Maddox, and I'm playing Snatcher of Clan Nosferatu.
Hi everybody, I'm the Revenos Archon, and I'll be playing Agustin de la Cruz, also of Clan La Sombra.
As everybody can tell from the intros and from the tech issues we had last week, this shit's live, everybody. 100% live.
It is? Sorry. No, you're fine. You're just a classamite. It's fine.
And then a hammock.
I don't know what I am anymore. Fuck it.
You have an identity crisis. It's understandable.
So, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. What happened last week? Well, when we were last with this group of Cainites here, well, they had some issues with the Inquisitor. I know that Elena and Augustine went to go and see the Bruja to find out what information he had. Peregrine and Snatcher went to go and investigate at the docks to see what was going on. Miguel, I'm trying to remember who Miguel went to see. My brain's fried, so everybody knows. I'm having trouble even remembering what we did. There we go.
Miguel went and
To see
saw Hanan.
Yep. Your Kaitif contact. about potential issues. That's where Miguel found out about instigators. Of course, the instigators comes up because the priest, Bishop Alessandro, was not idle. He riled up a group of people to start fights in a religious quarter to purge the heresy that he feels is in this city. And it was during this scene that they caught a glimpse of the Inquisitor, who disappeared abruptly, leaving Elena trying to figure out where he went because her Cordonic sorcery could not find him. And Miguel, of course, got to straddle the line between the world of the dead and the world of the living and saw the decayed other half. And where we're picking up, we're not skipping ahead any days this night because Elena had somewhere she was going to go. Elena?
Yes, she was going to go visit her mage contact.
So you are heading over, find my list here of contacts because I have a list of this stuff. You're going to go see Alexander. Where does he reside in the city? While she's thinking that, storyteller tip, let the players decide stuff like that.
I think he poses as one of the scholars in the city, even though he is basically a war mage. But he is doing some undercover work.
So, the best place to find a scholar would either be where the monks are or one of the local bookbinder. Actually, there's small schools in the city. You could go and find the historian at, I wouldn't call it a university, but a place of learning.
Yes.
So, I'll come back to everybody else. We'll go around as each person addresses what they're doing. Elena, you head over to the school that you're to head with. Now, it's late. And when you arrive, of course, it's dark. Doesn't seem anybody's around. Not that it stopped you in the past.
No, and it doesn't stop me tonight.
So as you beat on the door to the building, it takes a bit before an old man opens up the door. This is not Alexander, of course.
No. She says, "Apologies, Master. I need to speak with Scholar Alexander urgently."
Well, it's most irregular to be here this late.
Have you not heard what happened in the religious district?
I'm a bit hard of hearing. I don't...
Understandable. It is urgent, please.
Oh, well, come inside. You can go and meet in the audience hall over there, and I will send him down.
Thank you. And she goes and sits.
And the room he sends you in, it's not too large. This is not a large school. Large schools don't come till later.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a couple writing desks, books. And it takes a little bit of time. It's hard to tell exactly because, well...
She might be flipping through a book and reading a little bit while waiting.
Okay.
Because she can read.
About a bit of a wait. No watches. I can't tell you how long. Before man comes down. He obviously took so long because he decided he had to present a certain elegance to himself because he is in his normal outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Of fine clothes. Elena?
Alexander.
Ah. It's good to see you. I'm not sure why you would come at this hour, but
You had requested, when I asked you about a bishop, that if I found something else that may help you, to report it.
Yes. Have you found something new?
This evening there was an incitement of violence in the religious quarter. This bishop was present, not on the ground, on the rooftops, and decided once he was spotted to disappear in a cloud of what appeared to be red mist. And when I attempted to locate him, as I am prone to, he was not on this land.
That is useful. What else do you know about him? What have you seen him do? What has he been?
It appears that I could swear to you, it seemed with the fervor that one of the instigators had, he looked possessed.
Yes. You're dealing with a bit of a problem. So we're going to check off from what you've told me. You've seen him use fire.
Indeed. And obviously survive it intact. He looked whole.
Ways to sway people. Disappeared. Now, there's several ways to disappear. There's several ways we could hide ourselves from the land.
I have heard about possible holes through the veil. Don't know if that correlates with him or not, but it seems uncanny.
Well, I was about to get into that. Oh, there's ways to avoid being seen even by the earth. But with the other two abilities, it narrows it down a bit. You are dealing with a messianic voice. You're dealing with a mage. One of our kind. Misguided. I don't agree with their view on things. They feel that they've been gifted their powers to create miracles through God.
Of course.
Yes. As I said, misguided.
Of course.
We all know that power comes from the will to seize it, the will to run it, to control it.
Indeed.
And to use it and bend it to your will, not some mystical
divine
God figure.
Right. Well, is there anything that can be done to pin him down, as it were?
That is the difficult part, you see. What he's doing is not... The realm of the dead is it's the path, not the destination.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to... I don't want to get into the metaphysical with this one on this. I don't want to get into the big scheme of how everything is laid out, but he goes much deeper than that. So,
haha, it's just the waypoint.
It's just easier to punch there.
Ah, that makes sense. The wall is weaker there.
Yes. Now, there's some places it's easier to go straight there. It's other places it's easier to cut through. This city has seen enough
death,
turmoil over the years that it's easier here. How to deal with him. The hardest part is stopping him from leaving. I'm sure there are circles you can use to strengthen his way of exit.
Indeed, they are not. I do not personally have connections in those circles, but I have associates that do.
The hardest part, though, is even there. That just prevents him from taking a shortcut. Were it me, I would surprise him. I wouldn't use fire. He's got command over that. I would probably just have the earth eat him. Hard to escape when the earth swallows you whole.
True.
And it's much more difficult to do something like escape when the ground gives way under your feet before you know it happens.
Funny, I've done that the manual way in the past. It'll be interesting to see what I can accomplish now.
And the funniest part is ground is solid in most places you go. Encased in the ground doesn't free you.
No.
It just puts you in the same place. Most places.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Alexander. I appreciate your insight.
Look for the patterns. If he's riling people up, you should. How do I want to explain this to you? He's going to go for susceptible people, people he can sway easy. Remove them. Doesn't matter how, kick them out, kill them, imprison them. Remove them, and you take away his tools. He'll be forced to, well, he could resort to fire and burn your city down. And while that will cleanse wrongdoing, it won't eliminate everything. You can't exactly burn the castle down.
Exactly.
Take away his toys. That would be my advice.
It is sound. As I've not heard anything new in regards to your queries, but as soon as I do, I will either deliver them personally or send a messenger.
There have been disturbing rumors. That I have heard.
Oh.
Well, it seems the misguided house. A rumor has it that they have moves are beginning to eliminate the actual mages among them.
So either they comply with what they are doing or they are destroyed.
Well, that would give them a choice, wouldn't it?
Right.
You know the way is not to give a choice.
I know.
Choices allow for human error.
So they are forcibly converting them.
Well, of course.
Understood. They're building an army.
They're building loyalists.
Which is also an army. Thank you for that. And as I said, if I find anything else in my circles, I will advise you.
Of course.
Rest well, Alexander. Your advisement and insight has been beneficial.
Well, I'm awake and dressed already. I might as well get some more research done. I found a new book on the history of the land that I'm reading tonight.
Excellent.
Yes. You wouldn't enjoy it. It deals with spirits and the things that have brings war to this land.
Oh, yes, the demon. Mm-hmm.
You call it a demon. That's
Well, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
I call it something.
It's just another spirit, another thing to be harnessed and controlled.
If you can.
Well, and if it can't, there's only one solution to that.
Exactly.
Destruction.
Exactly. You and I have a mind on this.
Well.
That's why we get along. And she smiles and she departs.
And as you step, do you hear him commanding out to the old man, bring me my book and several candles. I need to be able to see better. And Elena sets off. Now, while Elena's doing this, I'm going right around. Miguel, you had somewhere you needed to go.
So the first contact Miguel was going to make was to Snatcher, because Snatcher did mention that there were seemingly holes that his ghost friend told him about.
Well, then Snatcher, I'm sure, wanders back after rescuing the old lady.
And even if you don't see me, there's bound to be a rat that you can say to go find me and tell me to.
The one that has a ribbon around its neck like a collar?
Just really any rat. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, it is Snatcher.
I mean, at this point, I think I'm responsible for 95% of the rat population.
Even if they don't have him under, if he even doesn't have the rat under his control, yeah, I imagine there's not a whole lot of scaly motherfuckers who talk to rats besides Snatcher, and he's probably pretty well known. He brings them cheeses and such.
Cheese, meat, bread, sometimes beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, if a rat approaches me and tells me that or wants me to confirm it, I will go back with yes, there were, as reported, definite holes and...
Christine, go ahead. Have your discussion.
How did your ghosts, the spirit you talked to, describe these holes?
In some ways, exactly that, as holes. And then another aspect he said was a thinning, a weakening.
We saw the so-called priest. He appeared to vanish, and there was this red not substance, an aura, a faintly glowing light in his wake. I climbed up on the roof and went and touched it, and as I did, I was transposed. I was brought to a place I can only describe as purgatory.
Do you have more details on this place?
Cold, dark, everything was decayed and decrepit. It was but a moment, but it seemed to last an eternity, which is, from the descriptions that I've been given of purgatory, quite apt.
That is different than what happened when we were investigating the Ratkin.
The spirit that you talk to, is that someone you can contact on call? Is it someone you can reasonably contact and have discussions with?
He is difficult as he wanders the entire city and tends to be somewhat single-minded at times. But when I can contact him, he is at least willing to listen, if a bit zealous in his mission.
Ask him if the rooftop of, and Brother Wongal will relay what the building is, because the player didn't bother asking what the actual building that we saw the mage on top of was. You will relay that information to Snatcher, and this is where he disappeared. If your spirit friend is able to sense these weakenings, and there's a weakening up there, it's not unreasonable to assume that he is either causing them or he has found them on his own and has found a way to manipulate them.
The next time I meet with him, I will mention it.
I am off to speak with a Canite that I know to be knowledgeable of death. Perhaps he can also shed some light on this. You are welcome to join me, of course. If
I find it best if I do not associate with necromancers. I feel that they would try to take advantage of the gift I have.
consider the possibility that they may be able to help you harness that gift in a way that you had never thought possible. Go in peace.
I will consider it. And Snatcher is now way less certain of things, even after just that simple bit of advice.
And Miguel will go see Marcus.
Okay. And as you go to see Marcus, Marcus doesn't have a trade, doesn't have a profession in the city. He's got enough of a stipend, we'll say, that he has small house of the style that these are, which means it's narrow. It's a narrow, long kind of multi-story place where he spends most of his time circulating the books that come in and out of trade. He's always interested in a new book that comes in to add to his collection. You're not even sure. He's never been 100% forthright with everything he researches while he's there. But as you come up, you see what you always see at the front of his place. There's several dead plants. And where in some parts of the city, weeds grow up alongside of the road, outside of his place, they're all dead and blasted, as if they can never get enough water, can never get enough sustenance, or as if something keeps them from surviving. Once again, the house next door to his is empty. That seems to happen often as well.
Miguel will approach the house and knock on the door.
When you knock on the door, it only takes a minute before the door opens up. And the man you recognize there with a no candle just waits, opens the door. Ah, Mr. Tanner.
Mr. Giovanni, it is good to see you.
Good to see you. Please step in.
Why, thank you.
And when you step in, he drops his street act. Good to see you, Brother Miguel.
And you, Marcus? How goes your studies?
It goes fairly well. I've improved a few things here lately. I'm getting better.
I am glad to hear that.
Would you like to see one of my tricks?
Perhaps a quick one.
I need that book. And when he says he needs that book, a hand with a forearm attached comes out from behind a chair and kind of skitters up the back of the chair and grabs the book, and it starts pushing it across the floor using its knuckles, because can't grab and walk at the same time, as it shoves the book over to him. You like that? That makes great use of the various parts that we find.
That is fascinating. How is the hand able to see which book you point to?
It has senses. It has no eyes. But if I concentrate, I can see through it. I can see what it sees. It can relay things to me at times as well, depending. But no ears and it hears, no eyes and it sees. It's really, I think it is meant to be a spy. But I find it useful to allow me to grab implements I need without having to take time from my studies to actually get them. Thankfully, it seems to last a bit longer than my earlier experiments of just reanimating things. Plus those things, the stink in this place got overwhelming. So I know you didn't come here to talk about my latest creation. What can I do for you, Brother Miguel?
So I have some news of the so-called priest.
What have you found?
From observation and from speaking with a trusted source, who is able to contact at least a spirit. I don't know about if there's others that he can talk to. That this priest is using purgatory to travel and hide within the city, stepping out of the physical realm into the realm of the dead.
Describe this purgatory to me again. Refresh my memory.
The vision that I had of the place, the senses that I felt, everything was cold, it was darker, but yet somehow still able to see. Everything had a lack of color, everything had a lack of sense to it. Everything smelt, everything felt, everything sounded dead. There was an uncomfortable cold, and as you know, as a Cainite, cold rarely bothers us.
That it does. But you'll find the cold of the grave that has long been denied. That does bother us. Almost as if existence fights against our very being and wants to reclaim what it's due. Purgatory, as you call it, the realm of the dead. Rome, where those are forced to watch everything move on without them. Trapped. Most of the time. You're saying someone went there.
Yes. He is not an ordinary priest. We know he created fire in a place that fire couldn't burn. And now he's been able to step into the realm of the dead as far as we can tell.
Oh, stepping into the realm of the dead it's rare. But even Mother Constance has gone into purgatory, as you put it, for her own reasons. It's
Many
not
of
a
the
trick
souls
she
that
would teach me.
Many of the souls that she speaks with were residents of purgatory.
She refused to teach me that. She said my path was not that path. So, you have someone crossing onto the other side. If you were trapped there, unable to affect everything you cared about, everything that was important to you, how would you feel if suddenly one of the things you're denied enters your world?
I would like to think that I would be able to still adhere to God's teaching so that I may one day leave and enter heaven. As we all are aware of our condition.
Our kind are liked even less, Brother Miguel.
Our patience runs thin, and I don't imagine that I would always uphold to the standards that I attempt to keep myself to.
Brother Miguel, the dead are angry. The dead do not like their fate. The dead do not like their prison. The dead do not like being trapped between worlds. And the dead do not suffer the living. If he is crossing there, he'll find no friends. And if he tarries, he'll find no return. There are places over on that side that even Mother Constance dares not tread. There are those she dare not face.
Are you implying that he may have someone on the other side under his control, that he has power to be able to move freely?
No, I'm implying...
Or that he has not been caught?
That what he is doing at the risk of his own life. And he's doing it, I would gather, he doesn't tarry long. Do you know the story of Charon?
I am not familiar with that story.
He was the master of the boat that escorted souls on the river Styx. And that's why you are buried with 2 coins. To pay the ferryman. If he is crossing over, payment will be extracted. They just have to know he's doing it.
I will take your counsel to heart, as I always do.
I wish I could help you deal with it directly. As I said, though, Mother Constance did not say that was my path. She has seen something different. She won't tell me what. But she
never
has said
explained
that,
her.
how did she put it? There's a different path for the Giovanni to walk. She was quite sad when she said it, though.
She has never been about her visions, always vague and open to interpretation.
And she's always accepted them without attempting to change them. That's something I can't understand. What's the point of a vision if you don't use it to improve your standings?
Considering her sire had foresight of my embrace, and when Mother Constance learned of this, well, that was the end of her sire. That does seem odd. Or perhaps it's something that her sire gifted her when she became one with her.
The only thing she has been more close-lipped about than the fate of the Giovanni is the fate of you, Brother Miguel.
That does not surprise me. I will leave you to your studies.
Yes, I have to get back. I have a fresh body downstairs that I have some experiments to run. I am curious whether the freshness of the corpse improves the strength of the familiar I pull from it.
Wasn't one of the gentlemen from the courtyard incident this evening, was it?
There was a courtyard incident? No. This is one of the dock laborers. They were unloading one of the ships. And a crate knocked him overboard, and he drowned. Thankfully, I have a deal with the dockmaster.
Well, good luck. I hope the drowning did not affect the corpse's physical abilities in any way.
No, it is not. He is not swollen up with water. They get him out quick enough, I believe, based on my own looking at it. I believe his neck broke as he fell over. I think he hit the dock.
Good luck with your research.
Of course. Some night you should join me and watch.
Just like to have an experiment at some time to see if a body given last rites affects differently than one that hasn't been.
We can do that one night. I'd be curious if what I animate has a soul or not. So hard to tell. It doesn't. Well, you know the saying, dead tell no tales. They unfortunately don't retain speech when I bring them back, but I'm sure we can come up with other tests.
All right. We go and nod and leave and find a rat to find Snatcher and relay that to have his ghost friends spread the word to other ghost friends that he may have about this guy, to maybe have the ghost just eat him up next time he hops.
The Rat Network?
The Rat Network to Snatcher to the Ghost Network. We'll see how that works out.
Okay. Peregrine, what were you doing tonight after this?
Oh, she's been like knee deep in bodies, triaging, getting people taken care of as everyone else is doing their thing. She kind of got left with the people that were trying to kill her.
Well, the guards will help you. How can I put this?
Bluntly.
Yeah. They will bluntly make sure any that may not make it. A few of them said that they'll get the pus will seep in. And they should probably just be put down.
Yeah, what she'll do is save the ones that she can, and oh no, some people got gold. I can't help that. Not my fault. You want to live? Well, guess what? You are now part of the pagan network.
So you are going to give anyone you think you can save a bit of blood, huh?
Oh, just a token, a trifle. They'll never even notice.
Let's see. I'm not going to make you roll that many rouse checks. I'm going to roll because that's way too many goddamn rouse checks. I just roll a bunch of dice and see.
I'm just saying half of them are dead already, and then a half that could possibly survive, half of that. So I'm looking at maybe about 3, 4.
I'm going to... you managed to find 6 that you can sure give them a bit of blood.
Nice.
I'm going to increase your hunger by 4 in the process. Didn't roll very well.
It's fine. I'll go out hunting. It's fine. So 6 people, cool.
Augustine and Snatcher, do you watch her perform these kind of things? Do you help or you just leave her to it?
No. This is human things.
I will definitely do more harm than good if I try to help her.
Yeah, no. This is for learned people and people who have soft hearts for humans. This is not for me.
I have
just
a single
increase
dot
my
of
net worth by 6 people. Okay.
Oh,
well, you only got a 1-point blood bond. You're going to have to check on them as they're recovering.
Of course. Why wouldn't I? I've got, a nice little place in the castle they can stay until they're better and,
So you commandeer a cart to transport people with.
Sure. That works.
And take that cart up to the castle. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's not hard. This is your city. People know, they may not know what you do, but people generally know you're important.
I mean, I'm known. That's all that matters. I'm just known. It's okay. They don't need to know anything else.
Okay. Well, let me go around now to Snatcher then. Snatcher, what were you doing?
Well, after a small talk with Miguel, I suppose I'm going to go try and go do some ghost hunting.
Okay. You know a couple places this spirit likes to hang. One of them's an alley.
I suppose I will check the usual spots first.
Okay. So you go and you begin going to check the places. The alley, the ghost has never been, how can I put this? The ghost has never been forthright with why he's in that alley so often. But you suspect that that's where he died.
Mm-hmm. Decent guess.
He considers that his alley. So, what do you call this particular ghost?
He told me that he wishes to be referred to as Last or the Last. And I didn't get a name after that. So he is the last. He declared it as, I am the last murder to go without justice. And that's the only info he gave on his death.
Well, this will be an interesting conversation then. As you approach the alley, you don't even have to bother to try to reach out. You've always had this thing about seeing ghosts, sometimes when you didn't want to. A breeze out of nowhere ruffles your cloak.
I guess I'll turn around, see if he's just behind me.
Form shimmers behind you. He still bears the mark of his death. His throat was cut. Still has the gaping opening. What did your friend do? I've already gotten word. One of your companions killed somebody tonight. You know how I feel about this.
Of course, but you should also know that sometimes things like that are out of our control.
He did not have to murder him. Could have clubbed him. Could have broken his leg. Anything other than death.
To make sure that we are both thinking the same thoughts in this case, what incident are you referring to specifically?
Wait a minute. Was there other deaths you can tell me? I just heard word that in the religious quarter, a buddy of mine, he came to me and said that he saw a dagger plunged in a heart.
That is correct. Do you want to know the context?
Entertain me, sure.
They were inciting rioters who were calling for the death of another. I doubt you would have looked favorably upon a mob killing either.
And then he smiles and he slaps you on your shoulder.
Passes right through my shoulder.
Yep. It's all right. I was just seeing how you'd respond. That wasn't human anyway. Don't care.
What was it then?
It used to be human. You know when you get a nice set of grapes and you peel the grape off and you just eat the fleshy good part in the middle, and you don't leave the skin because it makes a squeak noise on your teeth. You don't want to eat that. He was the skin. He'd been cored out.
Huh. Snatcher's going to make a mental note of that one.
And I'd kill for some grapes right now.
I'm sorry, I cannot get any over to you.
That's been a problem since I died. I've seen some grapes, but they're all shriveled, look like raisins.
They probably are raisins. Drying out is a decent preservation technique, at least for some things.
Not for these. You don't understand what it's like to be on this side. Like, I look at you. You look like a shambling corpse. Got this ugly kind of greenish tone to you. Now, when I see someone walk down the street, they're vibrant with color. You can pick them out no matter where they hide. But you, not so much. It's a little bit harder. The streets full of holes. Buildings falling apart. It's really quite morose when you think about it. That's why I don't want any more murders. I don't want people to see this, to go through this.
Well, then, this next bit of information may seem especially important to you. Have you seen someone priestly, wears red?
I've seen several priests not in red.
Occasionally would be followed by a contingent of knights?
Haven't seen him. I know who you're talking about. I met one of his knights. Briefly. He was carted off.
One of my kind said that that particular priest vanished with puff of red mist. And from how it was described to me, I think he stepped over to your side of things.
Take me there.
I'll happily walk towards the area and then indicate as casually as I can.
So as you go there,
the roof.
You still haven't been able to see him. You're only you saw him briefly, but he kind of disappeared. It takes effort to manifest. You feel that cold spot on your back that tells you that he's put his hand in you to let you know he's still back there?
Ugh. Yeah, I don't have a gag reflex, but Snatcher still feels like he's going to throw up.
So you take him back to the site where Peregrine is. You get there just as Peregrine is rolling off with a cart full of injured. She's managed to abscond with a few of the town guards to help her deal with this particular problem. But you take him up to that spot, and you hear his voice. The shroud is weak here. There's something damaged it. Feels odd.
I'm sure there are other spots within the city that are similar.
No, that's what I've heard.
From what I've gathered, he is crossing over. I don't know what he does from there. I'm assuming...
No, wait.
Move.
No. You don't just cross over. If it was that damn easy, I'd have crossed back.
It is only a theory, and not a very well-founded one from my side.
There's rules against that. You know that.
From the bits you've told me.
Hell, there's supposed to be rules against me talking to you.
I thought you said the rules were you couldn't talk to the living.
Technicalities.
I have no pulse.
You talked to me first, so I didn't talk to you. That was my argument. The fact that you're one of the soul dead don't matter to that. You're saying someone's been crossing through, huh?
That's the rumor. And I'm wondering if there are other weaknesses, as you said, in certain areas.
We've had a couple people looking into it, curiosity. You'd be amazed how many scholars end up on our side. I think it has something to do with they didn't finish their great work. Like any scholar can finish his great work. That's the point of being a scholar, isn't it? I will pass a message. That is the best I can tell you.
And in return, I know you cannot physically interact, so more of the same work as usual in exchange.
Yeah, that reminds me. In 2 days, I need you to be back in my alley. There's going to be a mugging. I've seen the strands of fate.
There's going to be a mugging.
Yes.
Is that all the information, or do you have more?
No, it's a woman. Maybe seen 22 sons.
Are you comfortable with a sizable amount of rats in your alley, if temporarily?
The rats don't bother us.
I'll have it handled.
Good. That way we can avert that. She bore the marks.
Very well.
I will talk to you another time, Snatcher. I have audiences I have to request. You would think you would get out of that bowing and scraping to nobility and lords. Turns out when you die, they get a lot nastier.
Death is not dissimilar to life in some aspects, I suppose.
One day I will tell you how somebody caused too many problems got turned into a pair of sandals.
Sandals?
Yes. Sandals, because the one he pissed off wanted to walk on him for eternity.
Yeah, Snatcher's going to file that under his file of existential dread and then move on from that topic.
Okay. So you're heading off as your friend disappears.
Take care, last. And then I'll, go to find whichever of the coterie I find first. Kind of leaning towards hoping it's Miguel or Peregrine.
Well, you can always go back to your catacombs under the fortress, because when major events happen, you all do tend to meet back up.
Yeah, I'll start heading that way.
Augustine, what were you doing?
I'm going to be taking Daniori if he's there. Otherwise, I'm going to be taking the next highest ranked soldier. Just pull him aside. It has come to my attention that this was orchestrated by some people that are trying to overthrow the good lord of the city. There seems to be some spies hidden amongst the spice dealers of the city. I would like some troops amassed and the spice dealers searched during the day.
Instigating against King Uru?
Yes.
We can't have that.
Imagine that.
A spice merchant, you say?
This is the information that has come to me from my network, yes.
I will organize a group. I could use some more salt. That has gotten way too expensive.
Oh. The Lord works in mysterious ways, my friend.
Doesn't it? Well, when you're looking for evidence, it never seems that you'll find it in the strangest places, won't you?
Strangest places.
And spices have a tendency to get into your bag somehow. Much like the sand on the riverbank, don't you think?
Oh, flowing, always, my friend.
Would you like me to bring you some of it?
No, please. If this will help the morale of you and your troops, by all means. More for you, I think.
We always like extra salt. It makes it easier to preserve things for the winter. There's never enough of that to go around, and none of us like the meat when it gets that funky taste.
Yeah, soggy meat is very hard to deal with.
Yes. We can only smoke it so much.
Yes. No. It is hard work keeping your meat preserved.
He looks
you started it. You started this.
Touche.
Yeah. Made me broke character, you bastard. I'll consider it done. We will go through the spice merchants. We'll even swing through the bazaar too. Well, you never know. There may be contraband there as well.
There might be. I will remind you, and I will hand them a couple of coins. The rug merchant, Grisa, she is of good standing and should not be bothered.
Well, of course. Rugs are important. Trade here.
Yes.
Very well, Augustine. We can do that.
Excellent. I look forward to your report, my friend.
I will. I'll pass it to Mario. Him and I have a duel scheduled in the evening.
No. If there is good news from this raid, perhaps you might find yourself winning this duel.
Yeah, perhaps. It is not to the death. It is going to be to first blood.
Of course. I'm going to squeeze his bicep. Just like, you are getting stronger, my friend. You are looking fit.
I will beat him one day.
Of course.
Hopefully not before I'm too old to swing my sword.
No.
He is well trained, I must say.
It comes from good stock.
I've heard that. He won't say whose. I was hoping to find perhaps a cousin or something to marry into.
Oh, one can only hope. But his family is very far from what I understand of him.
Well, of course. Come now. An exotic wife here in Transylvania?
You will be the talk of the town.
Of course. I'd be the envy of the officers' mess.
Why stop there? You would be an officer yourself, clearly. A shrewd person like you.
As they like to say, you don't get to be an officer without a wife and two mistresses. I have the mistresses.
Now we have to get you a wife.
That's correct.
I'll see if I can crack this nut for you.
Or a suitable amount of patronage to ease the flow of promotion. Well, I've got to go back. I was on rounds tonight. I was the duty captain.
Yes.
I have to make sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to.
You are diligent as always, my friend.
Well, of course.
Be safe.
And after the events of the market, I'm going to make sure the streets are relatively clear of miscreants and scoundrels.
We will be better for it, I think, in the long run.
We've got to send a message. If the serfs think they can do this anytime they wish, sets bad precedent. They'll think they can do it all the time. Order must be kept.
Order must be kept.
Good eve, Augustine.
Be safe, my friend.
And he turns.
We'll see you tomorrow.
And you see him motion to the two guys that were with him. Let's go knock some skulls. And the two of them head off.
And I'll make my way back to the keep.
Okay. I think right here, good point to go to break. We will see everybody in 10 minutes. Please enjoy the break.
So that it doesn't shrivel up.
Yeah, no, banana hammocks.
Wow, y'all just got caught on the end of that one about blood not shriveling up and banana hammocks. Wow. Oh, before the break, and during the break was some weird stuff being discussed. Before the break, each of these Canaanites got to gather the little bits of information. Now, many of them have information. Peregrine, unfortunately, was doing the humane thing, taking care of the bodies. The rest of the group was like, eh. So as we open back up, we're going to open up that you all have gathered once again in your war room, because there's numerous events happened this night that you all probably need to discuss as a group. I turn it to you players.
I found out what the bishop is.
Do share.
Please be good news.
No. He is a mage of the messianic voice. Basically, they are mages that have certain talents that they believe are given to them by God to create miracles.
Oh, good. Just a regular fervent zealot.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. And he is likely traversing only temporarily through the realm of the dead to get to somewhere else, somewhere deeper.
What is deeper than the realm of the dead?
Don't have that information. But my associate recommends possibly not going after him with fire, which I concur, because obviously if he can command fire and not get injured by it, that is a moot point. He needs to be buried. Deep. And those he likes to incite need to be dealt with. Either captured, exiled, murdered. Doesn't matter. If we remove his toys, he has nothing to play with.
The spirits that inhabit the realm that he steps into apparently are not pleased. They are in great anger at a mortal, if we can call him that, entering the realm of the dead.
I would imagine so. It is an invasion. It is trespass.
And since we last spoke, I've now made sure that the spirits will be actively sharing that information about him. And I've learned something rather useful as well. The one that I spoke to, he doesn't work for me. It is a transactional relationship. He uses me to interact with the physical side. And he's asked me to prevent a mugging that will happen in 2 days' time. That he said he saw before it happened. If I can keep him as an ally, we may be able to get advanced warning on more things.
That is simple enough. You just need to tell me where, and I will have extra guards there.
I was just going to have the attacker be swarmed by rats.
That works as well.
Perhaps if one of us can be the one to stop it directly and your acquaintance sees this, it may not it may be something that will allow us to, as a whole, further endure ourselves to him.
I would also recommend, even unless it becomes nigh impossible, do not kill when in tasks being done for him. He does not like humans to die by the hand of another. Incapacitate, traumatize, whatever you feel is needed, just do not kill them.
My actions this night, that may test him.
He mentioned such, actually. Said that what you killed was not human anymore. He described it as when you peel a grape, and what you essentially killed was the skin.
Storyteller, when I used Scry the Soul on him, did I get any sense of this?
There was a corruption to him. There was something not right about him. There was a hatred in it, that zeal. But even from your own personal experiences, I will tell you, because you've done Cupolas Night for the Canaanites, for your fellow Canaanites more than once, even those spirits have an aura that's corrupted and full of anger.
Did it match the aura of the spirits from Copola's Night, or was this a different?
Let's see. What can I have? Let me look at you and
do you remember
roll here.
I do remember him. Blood.
Go ahead and do Perception Occult. Difficulty 6.
All right. I imagine this is something that heightened senses is not going to apply to since it's a memory thing.
Yep.
So that is 4 successes.
Very similar. With 4 successes, the difference could be distance from the source. Because where you're used to is normally not this part of the Carpathians, it's in the eastern side a lot of times. So regional differences, perhaps. But very similar. Close enough that you would tie the two together.
What was left of the man that I sent on to the next life had similar signs of spirits that we have hunted during Copola's Night events.
That's incredibly concerning.
If this mage is targeting or somehow harnessing that, then I imagine it would be an extensive search required. But roaming the city, I may be able to find others with similar tells.
That is a good idea. It also could be that the mage is just using certain things to his advantage. Just as Coppola could be seeing potential for bloodshed, which we all know he loves, and taking advantage of that. It could just be 2 opportunists by happenstance coalescing.
As unsettling as that is, I would prefer it to an active partnership.
It's doubtful if he believes that he is given magic talents by God, that it is an active partnership. It's just a happenstance that it works out in both their favors.
In the off chance that they are working, or they are in leagues or in any way connected, perhaps having the ground swallow him might feed into Coppola.
But it might eliminate the bishop. He does not seem to command the earth.
That is.
And I believe no matter what, if desperation becomes too large of a concern, I'm certain we can rally many K-Knights to fight against both of these forces, as both, well, one culturally they oppose, and another by their very survival they oppose.
It has been my understanding over the 50 years we have been here that agents of Coppola become more active closer to his rising again. It is not set timing from what I have noticed. Miguel, your travels are at different times of year. So it is possible that he is soon to rise again.
Miguel, have you been sent an invitation for another Coppola's night?
I have not. I can reach out to see if any of those allies have noticed signs that it is coming near.
I will also send missives to the Revenant families that I'm associated with and see if they've heard anything in their courts.
It would be a perfect storm if the night were to happen at the same time that a bishop makes his move.
Well, if all else fails, few things, from my experience, can survive without a head. And Augustine's sword is quite adept at making that separation.
The issue is getting close to him, I believe.
The only one better than me is probably Gwen. And speaking of, can't we somehow adapt the poison that we have in our possession to affect him?
If he will partake of it.
Yes?
He has to drink. Has to drink the wine.
Or we could lace an arrow or a dart with it and our blood.
Oh, I'm always down for shooting him.
That I am not good at.
I'm okay. I'm good.
I can shoot arrows decently.
Good.
I wouldn't call myself adept.
We have enough. Gwen, the amount I gave you, that was what was remaining of the last poisoning. I have a completely full bottle. There was obviously another target.
So we have options. But we shouldn't believe that this is our best option.
Right, but it is a fallback.
Correct.
And from my understanding, from what I have learned from my associate, I will not say friend, we are in a transactional agreement, that mages are mortal. Some have the command of their life where they can extend their life, but they are mortal. Burying them alive will soon end their life.
His belief in whatever God gave him his ability was strong. I found myself held back from approaching him. So
he's like father.
A little bit. I can deal with Ambrosio. I cannot deal with this man.
Oh, he's potent then.
Yeah.
Storyteller.
Yes.
I know that I felt it at a distance, but I didn't even bother trying to approach him. Did Moncado give me the same feeling at all, or was he suppressing it or something?
There was that underlying feeling, but it
was Masato.
Your guess, it was not directed at you.
Ah, okay. The Eye of Sauron looked elsewhere, as it were.
That kindred in particular meets with a lot of other Canaanites. And it would be very inconvenient if every time he met with somebody, they took off running.
Yes.
Kind of funny, though. But okay, I was just making sure if there was like a contextual similarity.
Yes, some of you may have, if you interacted with Mongado, you might have felt something akin with him. But he is good at redirecting it, as it were, when he is interfacing with other K-Knights. This I have seen personally in my early nights.
The bishop certainly had more intensity.
Oh, and he hates us. Hates our kind. So of course he would lash it out.
And yet he steps into the land of the dead, which is far more dangerous than anything we could ever do to him.
He is an idiot man. He's cocky.
They are abundant.
Indeed.
And now the dead are aware that he keeps jumping back and forth.
They will be looking out for him.
And from the little I know of the dead, even the ones that are aggressive will band together to get rid of something that does not belong there. Whether they will do so effectively or in a mad charge, I'm not certain.
The truth is, this man seems to think that God is on his side.
God or not, you know what? We got 6 new friends to try and help us spread the word about him. That he's mean and evil.
Oh, were you recruiting from the wounded, Gwen?
Oh, I was doing the goddess's work to make sure that everyone understood that even we hold no grudges and we're willing to forgive. But I didn't say forget.
You don't know any of those people. You just brought them into the fold. They're like cats at your doorstep.
Oh, well, you know, sometimes you can hurt the cat if you know how to do it right.
Cokes with fish.
You can hurt anything if you know how to do it right.
Well, one thing you may want to consider doing with him, something I noticed, when I went to the school tonight that I meet my associate at, the caretaker there, the head administrator there, had not heard of what had happened in the religious district yet. I believe we might need a crier network in the city. And who better than our Toreador to do such efforts?
I wouldn't know what that was. I could definitely, shall we say, get a system together. Sir Archer and I were down at the docks. He was saying that there was a lot of things going on in the, shall we say, adult section of the town.
Of course, there should be one place there to learn about information and share it.
Oh, I'm thinking maybe I should actually, shall we say, invest in it. And become quite, you know, the silent owner part of it. So, you know, we can educate the ladies as well as making sure they can handle themselves if certain things go amok. And on top of that, they can pass on more information to us.
Absolutely.
Because what happens to a man when, shall we say, he's tired and knackered out? Some of them actually talk in their sleep.
Indeed.
Get them drunk enough and they speak when they're awake.
Are we talking about the ladies of the night?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Of course we are.
There was a lot of cold words being thrown around, and Snatcher did not tell me one way or the other, and he comes from that life, so I was looking to him for...
the ladies of the day as well. They do such work in the day, too.
It is an all-day, all-night operation.
Oh, what people do during the day is up to them. I remember those times, yes.
Do you? They're not so forgotten, are they?
But
not so much.
Would you like me to send ladies up to you?
No. Not for me.
I just want to make sure you're okay.
Oh, I'm okay, yes.
Okay.
Gwyn, also, I want to advise you that a Bruja of my association will be coming by at some point to discuss some certain concessions for information. As he is a spice merchant, it will be under your purview as to what concessions can be granted.
He might also
me about him.
have some concerns about being raided by the guards.
Please tell me you have all of the merchants being raided and not just him.
All of the spice merchants will be raided.
Excellent.
Since that is where all of these rumors and hearsays started.
Okay, so did he give me good information?
Yes, he told me that there is a Tzimisce that is trying to undermine our efforts in this city. He was sent a missive basically requesting his alliance in those efforts, and he did not respond.
Did he happen to give the name of the Tzimisce?
No.
I will point out that the note said, the city is mine.
The city is mine, is what he said.
I don't believe the one that dislikes me and by extension us would claim the city as his own, but I definitely know he thinks that the city is Clan Tzimisce's. I don't know if he has the influence to claim to want the entire city.
I also have one that is a thorn in my side. He seems to be very upset that I can do things that his clan can.
I have a contact, so I can write innocently enough. But was this Bruja decent? Was he knowledgeable?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Was he...
He's the German one that always wears the exotic outfits.
Oh, he sneers at me.
A bit salty about Carthage as well.
Oh, yes, of course he is. Of course he is. He's old enough to remember.
Mm-hmm.
He claims, I am not some,
Should I, if I meet him, give him some milk?
He's got lots of piss and vinegar in his veins. But
I should bring some milk so he can curdle it.
Yeah.
And then he can cry in it for a bit.
Yes,
and
he was very remiss when I told him that I could not make him promises of concessions for his business interests, that falls under your purview. I think I might have just really upset his night.
I don't know if you've upset him or made mine.
Exactly.
I'd love to go to toe with him.
Yeah, no, I know. It'll be fun. I told him that he can ask to speak with me, and I'll ensure that you are present for the audience, because you are the one that can make those decisions. I cannot.
Oh, so we'll just have to see how well he can kiss some arse.
As a Bruja, might be a little warm.
If he wants his concessions.
Yes. Oh, he seems to think his information is incredibly valuable. I corrected his perception of that, and gave him what I could within my means that was appropriate compensation for the information he gave me, and advised him if he felt he had better information to request an audience, and I would ensure you were present to offer him further considerations for his business interests.
What did you give him?
Just trading favors.
That's fine.
Yes.
All right, well, we'll see just how good he can sweet talk me. Yes, Augustine.
I think that given the day's hardships that he will find himself awakening to, that he will be very compliant with any scraps that we deem worthy to share with him.
The truth is, I can't stand the bastard. But, and it's mutual. We don't like each other. We can't help. We are both the type that are not going to put up with any shit. So we rub each other the wrong way. But I will tell you that in this, our interests are aligned. He might not like me or any of us, but he understands what we are doing. And he wishes for the success and stability of this city.
Okay, so don't go too hard on him, but give him a good rubbing.
Yes. I don't think he would respect you if you didn't.
Yeah, he might like a good rubbing.
Yes, with a cheese grater.
Mm-hmm.
The door to the room, the war room, it suddenly opens. And a man scurries in, damnedest thing. He walks in, doesn't even seem to see you, walks right past you, goes over to one of the walls, pulls out a chisel and a hammer and starts hitting it. And I'll describe the guy. He kind of has, his skin is stony looking, almost like he's carved from what he's chiseling into. And he's muttering to himself. Yes, Zelios has come in the room, doesn't even pay attention to you, just starts chiseling on the wall, muttering to himself.
It's not your brother's here.
I'll sidle up, but not interrupt him.
Yeah. This is,
or just observe what he's carving right now.
This is where it needs to be. And he's started to carve a symbol in your wall.
What?
As opposed to the normally stoic look, his voice is animated, his motions are animated. He's really enjoying chiseling this wall.
It seems he is inspired.
And as soon as you speak, Elena, he turns his head. Lucita, you changed your hair.
Oh, darling, I am not Lucita. I am her older sister, Elena.
Oh. Dust. Damn it.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Zelios.
Was not aware that you were within the city.
I wasn't aware I would be here.
Oh.
What are you doing?
What is that symbol?
I see you found the heart chamber. Yes, this is very good you found it. This is important. It's important.
Right.
He starts chiseling again.
Oh. Yeah, don't let us interrupt you.
Just as a note, storyteller, I did just fail my roll to attempt to get a reading on him, so...
Oh, man. That's going to be good.
You failed it?
I failed to scry the soul on him.
But you didn't botch it.
Botch.
Okay.
No botch.
You get nothing from him as he's working. He's just chiseling away. It's got to be here. We put it in heart. And it radiates out from there. And yeah, right here. And he starts chiseling again.
What are you going to put there, Zelios?
This. Chisels a little bit more.
What is it?
It's... How can I...
Bluntly.
Snatchers, isn't anything that you know about?
Symbols and runes are outside of my knowledge.
There's a line. It runs through your city.
Eh?
This is one of the points.
Eh?
So I need to put this here, and then I have to radiate out and put the additional points, and that will contain it. Channel it inward, not outward.
Talking about a ley line?
Yes, but that's not what I'm channeling. It's...
Oh.
Have you noticed? The land is restless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
This is what I'm working on. I'm trying to contain it.
You're trying to contain it in our city.
No, I'm trying to push it out of your city. I'm trying to push it from the borders towards the mountains more. And that way we can... My thought is I can isolate it.
You wish to trap the spirit.
We put a ring. Okay? It's like when you're hunting, you put out a trap.
Yes. And it encloses on them.
Right. And you put your hunters out. And you have them make noise to drive it towards the trap. And your hunters, the ring tightens until you finally get it where it has nowhere to go but your trap.
Yes.
That's what needs done here. If I put this one here, we can tighten the noose.
Please, do your work.
How do you know this will even work? Your clan is not known for magics of this nature.
It's not magic. This is...
It sounds like magic to me.
It is geometry.
And that is
She
witchcraft.
knows. It is the sacred geometry. It is the shaping of the earth from time before time.
I recently read about that in a book.
Yes, it's...
Peggy's just sitting here shaking her head like, oh my God, seriously.
I've got to get this done. We'll get this carved. And once this is carved, it'll push the power inward more.
Good. Then we're less likely to have possessed zealots inciting violence.
He stops and he puts his hammer and chisel in his bag, and he turns and looks. And the moment he stops chiseling, his face just gets kind of flat again. Possessed zealots?
Oh, yes.
Interesting. What do you mean?
There was a incitement of violence in the religious quarter against the pagans.
It was not even the living who were possessed. They were shells.
Yes.
So what I'm doing helps you.
Yes. Would you like a favor?
Yes. So, this can't be. This was not the purpose of it. And these kind of interactions demand transaction.
Of course.
And recompense.
Of course.
We know how it works, Zelios. This isn't our first rodeo together.
The fact you have, of your own accord, shown up to be of assistance, even if you did not realize it was of assistance because it is serving your purpose, but it benefits us, we will offer trade.
That reminds me, was I supposed to tell you I was here?
I don't know.
Would have been nice.
You just did.
But you just did. You announced your presence just by coming in.
And of K-Knights who would not tell us that they are here, you are far less of a concern.
Exactly.
Aye.
Yeah. You didn't know she visited, huh?
Who?
That's why I thought you were Lasita. She was here not long ago.
Was she?
In the city.
Was I not supposed to say that?
No, that's okay. I will just have to teach my baby sister proper manners.
It's good to say.
Was she still traveling with Anatole?
Well, yes, those two. The best way to describe it is it's like sand that has been pushed to the point where they clump together. Those two have been pushed together until it's hard to find where one ends and the other starts.
I'd love to do a bit of some perception empathy on that particular sentence to see his opinion on that.
And I am going to check my city.
Okay. So, Elena, you can do your role for your Codonic sorcery. That's occult and what is it for that power? I think it's perception occult. For what you're using?
I'm gonna lean over to Snatcher as he's like looking Zelios up and down. Did you know that you had access to magic powers and you've just never tapped into them? It's
not magic. I told you. This is the way it works.
It's perception occult.
Okay.
This is the way it works.
Have you had access to this sacred math this whole time? And you've been holding out on us?
Within clans, there is variation. And I gesture to Zelios and myself just sort of haphazardly. We have different talents.
Yes, this is very clear now to me.
Snatcher was not made to be an architect.
I was a thief first, and a thief I remain.
Sacred geometry is more of a pagan way anyhow, which is what I know. So I know about ley lines.
You say pagan thing. Have you seen some of the church layouts?
Aye.
They have the divine ratio, which is sacred geometry. They use the same proportions.
Churches are made to look like crosses.
which is also sacred geometry.
I mean, it is rectangles. It's two rectangles on top of each other.
No,
like there's
no.
nothing.
There is a correlation between the angles with the lengths and the way the shadow would fall.
That is beyond me.
That's why we have special places in Ireland that on the solstices you could see straight through into the tombs.
I'm going to be using genus loci, and I got 4 successes.
As you're sweeping around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a mile, which in this era, that's more than your city because you're at the center of the point. Actually,
see if I happen to see
you're not. The fortress is not in the center; it's more on the northern side. But you got a sweep to look.
Mm-hmm.
So Elena is
she's sitting
out of it
in the
for now,
chair, and she's just kind of closing her eyes and focusing.
Now you can still hear what's going on in the room. It's just your attention is not on the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't botch, but no successes on perception empathy.
You don't know.
It's Zelios. He's hard to read.
I like that you can bluff your way into Moncada's existence, but you can't pick up how this guy feels about Lucida and Anatole.
Well, that's because unlike Zelios, Moncada is easy to fool.
I will require
Make a note of that.
Hospitality, that's the word, yes. Your hospitality for 2 nights. I should finish 2 nights.
You can remain with me.
Are there
I
other
will sleep where I
places?
work.
Oh, that works too.
Are there other places in the city that you need to make these marks?
They are all within the city under the fortress here. It reminds me. How do you like it? I built it some time ago. I didn't know then why. But now I know why I built it here. It's for this. And suddenly he gets animated again and starts chiseling again.
I don't bother interrupting him.
Elena, you sweep around. You find no hint of her in the city.
Considering my sweep is more than the city, do I see a hint of her outside?
Nope. But you didn't ask him how long ago she was there either.
She opens her eyes and says, Zelios, how long ago was my little sister here?
I encountered her on road to Bistra's. Time. Six nights ago. She said she had come from here.
Excellent. I will send a missive to Bistra's because it will get to her as she arrives.
Yes, she has several weeks travel.
Thank you. And of course you are welcome to hospitality here.
It's the least we can do for you.
Of course.
I'll try not to kill any of the servants.
Would appreciate that.
Now I have to get back to this. This is very important. And he looks over at Miguel. Don't you feel it's waking up again, and we need to. It's important to channel it.
I have had my own feelings of late. How recently has this urge afflicted you?
Affliction. That's not. No.
Maybe that is not a compelled desire.
Inspiration.
That is better. You are better at words than I am.
The inspiration took me a fortnight ago. I've heard here ever since. I lost 3 horses on the way.
Seems that it's only been about a fortnight or half a fortnight for us. There have been underlying signs that we have missed prior to. the full reveal.
Miguel, are any of the ones that you have met through the various hunts, do any of them reside in the city?
I'm going to need you to repeat that because Zoom hates me right now and is not always letting me hear everything that people are saying.
Snatcher essentially just asked if any of the ones that you go to hunt the couple of demons with, if they're in the city and can be approached and stuff like that.
Storyteller is.
No, none of them reside. The ones you meet on Coupola's night are normally some of the more powerful Zemetzis in Transylvania. You have met Yorick. You have met most of the ones who have. I forget I'm trying to remember the name of them. They're not the Nezes. They're the one over the Nezes. I'll figure that out afterwards. But the common ones, the younger ones, they're not invited because they die too quick.
Those in this yet gain status within their clan to be given the responsibility. We, as leaders of a city in the region, are invited for that reason. If any in the city are of relation, their sire enough of them to mention it.
I'm not sure why, but intuition says that the trap, and I'll glance over to what Zelios is carving, may be far more beneficial than we know. So is there any word we could get out to maybe invite some of them to this? Or see if maybe the night is approaching and will, by mystical happenstance, be near the completion?
Before I rest for the day, I plan to send out inquiries. Something that has occurred to me and that we have not discussed is, you did mention earlier your Bruja acquaintance. As rulers of the city, do we wish to push the other K-Knights into action in aid and defense of the city?
Ideally, that would be wonderful. However, I believe we have an issue with that, because if this Zemetzi that sent missive to this Bruja also sent it to others, we do not know who is working against us and who is not.
Perhaps we can spread the word through other sources, so it's not directly coming from us, so they see it as a citywide issue instead of
that
one
is
that
why
we are
I
bringing
suggested a crier network. Already 3 steps ahead, Snatcher.
Someone has to be.
Indeed.
I'll start working on it.
But yes, ideally that would be good. So I believe that Snatcher has caught on to what my intention was with that network, that ensure that they hear rumors of this information, so it inspires them to act independently of us, to preserve their own interests.
I believe I'll start talking to the ladies of the night tonight before day to start, shall we say, moving pieces.
Indeed. It is unfortunate, the timing of this bishop, but it is not insurmountable. We just have to think creatively and utilize resources appropriately. Still haven't puzzled out how to bury him in the ground.
Well, isn't there a way, Miguel, isn't there a way you bury yourself into the ground? Can't you do that with others? Or bring others with you?
The effects of his true faith burn.
If he is unconscious.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
His faith is stronger than others that I have encountered of that kind. If that would still be...
I'm not sure if that would be as big of an issue if he's unconscious and not able to will it towards you.
And Zelios over his shoulder.
Is still venomous.
Zelios over his shoulder. Deadfall. Works well.
Well, I understand a pit with deadfall over it and such.
Fake stone top.
That is smart. Goodness, where would...
Weighted bottom.
Hundreds.
Weighted bottom. Triggers mechanism. Mechanism causes a ceiling collapse into the hole after they're in it. Buried in earth.
Fantastic. Draw me up plans.
Gotta do this first.
Of course, do that first, but draw me up plans when you have a moment. I will owe you a favor for that.
Sounds interesting.
Good. I am a great many things, but I am not an engineer.
Architect.
Architect. That too.
Anything with math really is just eludes me, I think, is what we've learned today about me.
That's okay.
Math is the false path. It goes by. You'll know when it's right. This line here, you see, if I go too far left, it's not right.
No, it's okay. You are the maestro here. Please continue. I have seen where I have come short, and I embrace it.
Well, we will not disturb your work further, Zelios. Thank you so much.
I got to get this done. It's important.
Of course.
And with that,
I will leave plans before I leave. They'll be on that table. And he kind of points over his shoulder at the table. He doesn't even look from what he's doing.
Perfect.
I'll leave him on that table.
Thank you.
Good.
So as this group, anything else you all need to talk about? Or you all have some ideas now?
I just have a quick whisper to our dear Gwen.
Go ahead.
Do you recognize what he's carving?
Do I recognize what he's carving?
Intelligence occult.
Yay! I'm all right.
Ask the Thinky Coder remembers about the Thinky stuff, people.
Yeah, it's a BC penis.
My God.
I mean, imagine we all would have looked at this the way others roll as well.
Straight out of Vesuvius.
Anyone wants to roll intelligence occult, go ahead. It is intelligence.
Specifically
though.
not.
No, that's not a forte of mine.
I'm going to rouse to surge my intelligence.
How far?
2.
Okay, you're going to use 2 rouse checks?
No, for 2 points. So 1 rouse will give me 2 points, right?
Yeah, because you could actually...
Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do 2, and that'll max me out.
You can exceed your max for your generation, but it fades in a few turns.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I did 2 rouse checks, and I got a little hungry.
2 from Miguel, 6 from Peregrine. Good.
What is the difficulty on this? Just
6. I like to go with 6.
Okay. All right.
I will tell you when it's something other than 6. I like 6 generally.
As the person who initially asked the question, I feel it's inappropriate if I make a roll. Also, I don't have any occults, so no.
I'm pretty occulty. I got 3 successes.
3? So we got 3, 6, 2.
Ooh, I'm glad I surged. I had a dice pool of 9, and I got 8 successes with no ones.
Oh, shit.
Peregrine, it is a binding sigil. Elena, it's a spirit binding sigil. You don't think it's selective about the spirits it binds, though.
Zalios, is that going to affect the ghosts in our city?
Ghosts? Maybe not.
I would appreciate it if it does not. We have some agreements with some.
It shouldn't.
Words you like to hear. It shouldn't.
He's doing these.
He's like doing the math.
He's drawing it out with his fingers in the air.
He will correct 1 line, and that will be the only noticeable difference.
You have agreements, you say?
Yes.
I think I can make an adjustment or 2. I don't like that. It'll weaken the overall strength. But the others should be sufficient. I'll make the adjustment.
Thank you.
He didn't even... He stopped long enough to do his hands like this, and he goes right back to...
That's fine.
And that chisel seems to... Man, it can carve some stone.
And as we walk out, Elena leans over to Snatcha and Gwen and says, I noticed I've just recently read something at my mage associate's school. The waiting room they have me sit in to wait for him has books, and I bide my time reading. And I noticed it was one that binds spirits, but it didn't seem like it was particular. That's why I asked him to please not harm what you are working with.
Should I do my best to warn those that I know?
I trust your brother to do as he has said.
I don't. I would warn people just to be on the safe side.
Well, really, I warn one of them, and the information is miraculously disseminated.
I leave it to your discretion.
And I'm just nodding to him.
Peregrine just quietly sneaks out as you all are talking. It's like, she's got this. I'm going to go do my thing.
So with what little time left you have before the dawn puts you to sleep, right here, everybody, I think I'm going to end this episode. I'd like to thank my players, you the viewers. XP. I want to roll something. Let's see. Now you're in luck. I'll give you all 4 XP. Beware storytellers bearing gift. They have something planned.
My shock face.
No, this is just generous. I don't know what you're talking about.
Generosity from me.
I mean, Lance has never seen it, but I like what I'm seeing so far.
Just wait. And I do want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's been a rough week, let me tell you. I'm in training this week, so my brain is fried. So hope you all enjoyed it, even though my brain was toast. I let the players get a lot more role-playing in than usual before I tore them up with some bad shit. So please, everybody, join us on our Discord. That is where the cast of the show comes from. That is where the cast of all of our shows come from. And matter of fact, you're going to hear about some other shows coming up here. When Mama gets her chance, you hear about some other shows that were cast from the Discord too. This is a busy week for the McStabbers, let me tell you. Besides me in CISSP training. There's
me in Hell Week at work.
Yeah, there's other big stuff going on. So you want to catch our back episodes, go to YouTube. If you want to watch episode 2 that we had all those tech problems, I got the episode edited down so that it's one complete episode without all the tech issues. You can watch that on the YouTube.
You mean episode
2?
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without all the tech issues, it's on the YouTube as one solid piece rather than the messed up from our tech issues last week.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yep. You want to catch some, see some amazing content creators? We'll talk to them in a minute here, but check out their channels there, with our friends that we have, because we got friends. At least I think we have friends. Waiting for my wife to put that up there. There we go. And of course, hey, you want to give something to these players? The players here, we all do this because, well, we enjoy playing it, but it's not cheap to do this kind of stuff. Everyone has costumes. There's a lot of upkeep, a lot of stuff, costs and expenses for the studio and for the players. So if you want to give something to the players, bits and donations, they go to the players. The studio only takes the taxes out because we kind of have to, but all the rest goes to the players. And if you want to give to the studio, you can subscribe here on Twitch, watch Twitch take half because they're a pimp. And they pimping us out hard. And we'll go over to our KoFi where they don't take half. I think we lose about 8% total when we do through KoFi, which is pretty good overall. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon, comment on the video. All that helps the studio out. It gives us more people seeing it, which means the more people that see it, the more people can watch it. More people to watch it, the better it is for the studio. So that's all important. I actually covered my part, I do believe, so I'm going to turn it over to my lovely wife.
Thank you, manager, for the bits. The cast here really appreciates it. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who renewed their subs today, because we appreciate that. We ended up with a hype train because of all that. Woo, look at that. We're about to get a second one. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mojita. All right, so coming up over the next week, tomorrow we have the premiere of Old Gods of Appalachia, run by Ravnos Archon. You will get to see Shanky as a player at Will's table with me as a player.
I'm not only just a player, I have given the storyteller, I didn't give him, all the bullets.
Ammo.
I gave him straight up, all the buckshot in the world for my character. You'll find out.
Oh, yeah.
You can't blow yourself up this time.
And I tied mine right into his story. It's beautiful.
I gave him just a carte blanche, clean, opening to just fuck my character up.
And of course, we have Reb Ben Powers playing with us, and Brad Bradford, Timber Brad, from Windy City will be playing with us. It's going to be ridiculous and fun and awesome. So join us. That's going to be running on Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. for the month of October. So join us. And then on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Shanky and I will be right back here again. So we are going to be streaming at 8 o'clock, 3 nights in a row this week. But Friday, we will be here with the cast of our Kansas City V5 Chronicle, A Domain Divided, where you get to meet the cast and learn about the characters we have made to play in this new modern vampire chronicle. So join us live to meet with us then at 8 p.m. Eastern. Is Tiss back on Saturday?
No, she's back on the 14th.
The 14th. Okay, so there's no stream on Saturday. Perhaps, now I will tell you, we did not stream a marathon this past Sunday. Shanky needed a day to rest. Okay. It's been a lot. But we appreciate y'all's patience with that. And hopefully we will have a marathon stream this Sunday at noon till about roughly 8 o'clock, maybe a little later at night, for Windy City, resuming in season 4, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are running through all the seasons of Windy City. We've made it into season 4. And hopefully that marathon will be running on Sunday at noon. But if not, please understand it has been another freaking week for Shanky, and it's a lot to do that processing for that marathon. So as far as I know, we'll try. We'll let you know in Discord if we're not able to do it. And of course, we'll be back here next week on Wednesday with more of your favorite Elder Vamps in Dark Ages.
Seriously, come check out the Old Gods tomorrow at 8 p.m. because I don't get to be a player that often. This is one of your chances to see me be a player.
I don't get to play at a table with my husband as a fellow player that often.
So check that out. And let me tell you, Friday, bring your questions for the Kansas City cast because you're going to find out what clans people are playing. You're going to learn a bit about their backstories and what led to their embrace. And I'll give a little teasers about what's going on. And you're going to actually get to see the intro for the stream. And you'll find out why I have to do quotations for the intro.
Yep.
That'll also premiere during the episode, not before. So you won't get to know what I mean until our Q&A.
Absolutely. It's going to be exciting. The Chronicle itself, the cast is super engaged the whole time that we've been in process of creating characters, and we are still just chatting like we are rabid in the cast chat for this game. So yeah, it's going to be a very good Chronicle.
You'll see some familiar faces from some of the other games that I personally have run. You'll see some people you haven't seen before. You'll see some people who haven't been in my games before, and you'll even see somebody who's not been on our channel at all, streamed ever. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So tune in for all that. And as always, well, hang on, let me go around the table. Zach, tell everybody where they can find you before we get any further. Let's let them people promo each other.
All right. I can be found on the interwebs at various places. ZachRules.com is going to be the most consistent one because I have to pay for that. It's like $12 a year, but I still pay something for it. I am also on the Deadbird app, the Dice.camp, and the BS site at Zach Rules. And if you find me on other social media, I'm not using them, so don't bother. Monday, as part of the Exquisite Corpse Presents month-long October charity, they're doing 21 different one-shots raising money for TakeThis.org. Monday if my time zone calculation is correct, I will be on there at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, playing Monster of the Week. It's pre-recorded. I will not be interacting past like 11, so come watch.
Junie, tell everybody where to find you, what you got going on.
I am everywhere on the internet because I live on the internet. It's just easier that way. It makes my life easier that way. You will find me here. You will also find me on the RPG table. We are going back on Saturdays. So that's going to be, if you were a vampire and embraced in college, how are you going to handle that one? Good times. On top of that, you'll see me back in Ravenos' stream, I believe in November when we get back to 7th Sea. And then you'll see me on Roll Call on Sundays for DC by Night. And I am a mod on Cajun Night Discord server where it's a play-by-post and it's for all of your World of Darkness needs, all splats. So come and say hi to us.
Seriously, go watch them. Check out Junie on all the apps. Watch her on Twitch. Maddox, Snatcher down there. I'll let you tell people where to find you because there's really not many places.
It's a small little streaming community called McStabber Studios. It's not well known, but I'm sometimes streaming on there.
Hey, I'm kind of partial to that McStabber Studios community. It's small, but it's good people.
We are small but mighty. And thank y'all so much.
Hang on, we still got Augustine.
Hang on. Thank you, everyone, for the hype train again.
Seriously. Yeah. So, Ravenous Archon, tell people where to find you.
I got my own channel here on Twitch because they let me do it and stuff. And then that's where I met you guys. And then you let me do stuff for some reason. I don't know why.
We're gluttons for punishment.
I do Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition on Mondays. I alternate between Werewolf the Wild West and Legend of the Five Rings on Tuesdays. I did have an alternating 7th Sea campaign that I'm putting on hold for the spoopiness that I'm bringing to McStabber Studios for Thursday nights in October. And you can always catch me being the lovable scamp of this coterie every Wednesday. Except for one Wednesday at the end of the month, at the end of next month, where I got called into work. But otherwise, I'm here, man. You can find me. You know where to find me.
You know why we let you run things on here? Because if you weren't running things on here, I'd never get to be a player.
Yeah.
Just say, well,
Touché.
almost never. Because I pretty much play in your games and sometimes Mama's games.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I mean, you did dress up as a maid in one of my games.
Yes, for those that haven't seen it, there is a whole video of Shanky in a French maid's costume.
Yes,
and it's not on OnlyFans, it's on YouTube.
Yes, it is.
That exists.
That exists in this universe. Thanks
That was
to
Buck
me.
Masterson. No one should disparage Buck Masterson.
Buck Masterson got fired.
And then got his ass beat by House. But, you know. And as always, everybody, mental health. It's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. Please, check in on those around you. It's a tough time for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people, they just need someone to be there, someone to listen to them. October's a rough month for me. I lost a friend of mine in October, and he was a good dude. So, you know, it always bugs me. And if you need help, reach out to those around you. Look for your own lifelines, but I know that's hard for people. And if you can't, in chat's a list of numbers you can call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There will be somebody on the other end of the line, somebody that can be that voice, a professional that can help you out and get you off the edge. And if you're not in the U.S. or you're watching this on YouTube, findahelpline.com. Now you can put in the country of origin, and you can find out what support lines you have in your country, because mental health is health. And Maddox wanted to add something to this, and I'm going to let Maddox also add to this because he requested a chance to speak his piece on this too.
Several days ago, well, not several, more like a couple, a close member of my family broke down in tears, saying that he had nearly taken himself out Saturday. He has since gone to a hospital to get help and therapy, but I didn't notice and didn't think to simply ask. So please, no one deserves that sort of fright or scare in their life. Please, please, if you can see someone is hurting, check in, ask them. Because frankly, it scared the absolute shit out of me to hear that. This person has cried in front of me a total of 4 times in my entire life. It's not good when you see them reach that point. So please, please check in on the people that you love.
Thank you for sharing that, Maddox. Truly. Because that is honestly the truth about suicidal ideation. Those of us who live with it, or live in spite of it, I include myself in that because I've had it my entire life. We often can mask exceptionally well. We can hide how we really feel from everyone. Until eventually that just becomes so exhausting that it overtakes us. Do not blame yourself as a loved one of someone with suicidal ideations if you don't notice. There's a high likelihood you won't until it reaches a breaking point. If you are someone who struggles with suicidal thoughts, please, please, please get help. You are not alone. And it is survivable. I'm living proof.
Go ahead and do your rest of your outro. It's all yours, sweetie.
Yeah, I am. I am also the type that is a very generous and compassionate soul. I became a nurse because of my desire to nurture others. Our friend, Andy, his name is a blessing, was one of the most generous souls I've ever known. I barely knew him. He was friends with my husband. I barely knew him. And he gave me his mint condition graphic novel of The Watchmen because I enjoyed the movie and never wanted it back. Sometimes the most kind, the most generous are the ones who struggle the most because they know what it's like to suffer. And they don't want others to suffer like they do. And with me being a nurse, I'm going to tell you, please take care of yourselves, not just mentally, but physically as well. We want you around a long time. Get your COVID shots, get your flu shots. You can get them both same time. I did that last year and I'll do it again this year. It knocks you out for like a day, maybe 2, depending on how hard it hits you, and then you're back at it again. I suggest getting it on a Friday or a Saturday so you have a day or 2 to recoup before you got to go to work back again on Monday, if you work a Monday through Friday schedule. But seriously, do that. And y'all, our politics is just a mess right now. I don't even really want to talk about it because it's just a fucking mess. There's stunts being pulled left and right, and it's all to destabilize and make sure that they can't fucking come to an agreement on a fucking budget in November, which is going to directly impact my household. So needless to say, it is stressing me the fuck out.
I'm not sure I can convince my company to pay a bunch of money to send me to do training. Again, so soon after this one.
We won't lose our house. We will not be destitute, but credit cards will fall behind as we tighten belts.
That's all right. We'll sell Urian's kidneys.
Yeah, you know. He likes to send us spoons. Maybe he'll send us a kidney on ice for the black market.
That's right.
Hopefully his blood type is O.
We'll donate his blood marrow too. I mean, blood plasma too. We got it covered.
So seriously, make sure you are registered to vote, please. In, I believe it is Ohio, they have an election coming up next month that you need to vote in. And please pay attention to those ballot items because they are important. And make sure you're registered. And please, 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 please don't vote for fascism. Don't vote for white supremacy. Don't vote for Christian fascism because that is going to ruin everyone's lives. Said with love.
Thank you for coming, everybody. We'll see you next time, next stream, hopefully tomorrow night. I knew some heavy shit was said, but sometimes you got to do that. You got to say it. Not talking about it doesn't make it go away. And now I'm going to end the stream because I'm burning up hot. I forgot to set the AC lower before we got in the studio.
Yes, you did.
And this sumbitch is getting toasty in here.
Hot flashes are a bitch. I'm just saying.
So I do thank everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.